What is up, guys? Speed here, and before we get into the video, please don't skip this. I want to let you guys know that this position 4 guide that I've made for YouTube right here is one of a 5-part series called Simplifying Dota. I made one a while ago on position 5, and now I've decided to cover it for every single role. I'm really proud of this, and I want to let you know that this will be a preview into the Simplifying Dota, right? You're going to be able to get the entire position 4 guide right here on YouTube. The rest of it for every other role is going to be over on the gameleap.com website, right? So for the price of a Twitch sub, you can get the whole series of the Simplified Dota and the rest of our entire library of videos. But more importantly, you can request videos straight to me. Recently, I made a teamfight guide specifically tailored to someone on the forum, and in general, if this sounds appealing to you, anything that I've recently mentioned, then please go check it out. It is really incredible. I've been having a ton of fun giving as much value as possible in this recent series, and I thank you all for going to check it out right now in the description down below. Okay, first off, before we get into the first point, I just want to let you guys know that I really recommend, if you are a position 4 player or any Dota player at all, have a brief checklist. Just pull out a piece of paper. This will greatly help you just to understand what you need to do in the game. There are too many players who go in and just click their buttons. If you genuinely want to improve, please take this into consideration. Otherwise, let's just get into the first point. Okay, first off, what you need to be doing as a position 4 is walk to the lane and use your mana to secure range creeps and harass. I see way too many position 4 players go to lane and walk around by the pole camp and zone the position 5 hero. Please understand, as a position 4 hero, you have to take into consideration what your position 3 wants to do and what the enemy position 1 wants to do. You also have to look at, okay, is that a winning matchup? And often, in order to guarantee that a winning matchup crushes or a losing matchup does alright, you have to help them out. So if you, as a position 4 player, are only running at the position 5, what does that do? But focusing on the main point, use your mana to secure creeps and harass. If you can use something like a Fade Bolt, or a Wyvern W, or a Fisher, or a Cogs to secure creeps, do it. Do not sit in the trees and wait for a kill. Your purpose in the early levels should not be to kill. There are very minimal lanes where this is the case. You could argue, okay, maybe a Lesh Sven lane has kill potential level 1. Sure, but this is rarely the case, and as a result, creeps are the priority. Denies and last hits are what's going to get you an advantage in the early levels. It will get you a stick, Quelling Blade, boots, level 2. That is what's important, and keep that in consideration. Next point, if you're in a winning lane and can't harass under the enemy tower, then you want to side pull and fight at that camp. Recently, I was watching a replay, a lower MMR replay, and I noticed that the off lane kept side pulling. But they weren't even in a winning lane. They couldn't even do anything with the side pull. What ended up happening was they side pulled and the enemy safe laner got a full big camp. That is not worth it at all. If you were side pulling and the enemy safe laner is simply just going to walk over and farm it with no punishment, you were giving them the XP lead that they want. So, if this isn't the case and your lane is static, then you want to just keep it there, right? Just keep the lane in place. Side pulls are so that you can either make a disastrous lane okay, or a winning lane great. That's how I would look at it. Next point. If you run out of resources, go deny yourself to the tier 2 tower. Now this is so important. Why is this so important? Because if you do not ever have a situation in the game where you're either close to dying or out of resources, you're probably doing something wrong. So, if you ever have the necessity to go to the tier 2 tower to deny yourself, you're probably on the right course. And I would really look at it that way. Play position 4, use as many spells as possible. Maybe load in a Shadow Shaman, cast your Ether Shock, trade right clicks, get denies, and then when you're low on everything, walk, deny yourself, and do it again. This is a very foolproof way and a great, almost checklist, right? You can check off the box, did I deny myself? Yes. And that's a great way to understand if you're on the right course. Next, if the lane is even and more of a CS battle, make sure the enemy cannot pull. Often, you can just manually block the camp if it is dewarded, or if you can't ward it in the first place, right? Understand that, let's say you're in a brew against drow, right? You're laning with the brew and you're against a drow. The drow is gonna, as is, have a hard time last hitting against the brew. So what do you need to do in the lane? Maybe you can side pull to create pressure, but in the early levels this might not be worth it because you're not strong enough to contest the side pull and tank the creeps. So instead, you focus on blocking the pull camp, or at least guaranteeing that the 5 can't pull it, right? Next up, if the lane is completely unplayable, let's say it's Troll Undying against Pango Nyx, and you are the Nyx, the position 4 Nyx, you should go drag the wave, right? In an unplayable lane in which you can't even get a side pull off, let's say you're getting tri-laned, your best option is to either use tips from my very old offlane video, which you probably don't even remember, but more importantly, the simple, foolproof way is to drag the wave. Now you're probably like, well, what if they can get me off of it? Typically, if you can even hold the wave for 1 to 2, maybe even 3 seconds, if you're having a good day, that is plenty to guarantee that the wave is going to double or go underneath the enemy safe lane tower, and this will guarantee XP, and in these unplayable lanes, that is all you need. Otherwise, let's say it's just a dual lane that's hard, like I talked about, the Troll Undying, you can just drag the wave in front of your tier 1 tower without pushing it under tower, and this will create a good lane equilibrium for you and your offlaner. And finally, last point, because I can't go over everything in this exact video, I'm going to look into finishing this and really doing more of an in-depth guide on the website. The last point is, if you are a roaming hero and your offlaner does not want your help, you need to identify before the game starts if mid or safe lane is a kill lane, right? If it is a kill lane, you go kill it. If you're a hero like Earthshaker or Earth Spirit, who typically can't have the best laning impact, and your offlaner is a self-sustaining hero, then go check the safe lane. If there's a kill there, you're going to win your safe lane. You're going to deny the enemy offlaner, which is typically the tempo controller, a lot of farm, therefore setting your team off on a good pace. And what that does is get your safe laner off to a good start, which in turn allows them to jungle earlier, and then you can take their lane and catch back up, right? Now this is kind of a complicated sequence, but the point is, if your offlaner doesn't need your help, you need to check if mid does, right? If there's a kill, you need to check if safe lane does, if there's a kill. And if not, let's say no one wants you in their lane. No one at all. You do have to find somewhere to sap XP. Whether it's side pulling for your own benefit, you know, I talked about the purposes. You can just side pull for your own benefit, or just pull the safe lane camp. Or you can look to stack camps if you have heroes for that, or just sap XP somewhere. Sometimes it does have to be that way. Now that we went over the main points, I'm going to briefly go into a replay that I recently played as a position 4 player and talk about what the things I did to create pressure and help win my lane. Okay, instead of doing one of my actual replays, one of my own, I found this February replay, this Shaman replay. Absolutely fantastic play. So many great examples of how to play beautiful, beautiful position 4 Dota. Every decision he makes, this lane makes a lot of sense, and let's break it down. So first off, here, right? First off, focusing on denies, as I talked about. Then, there you could tell he was trying to use his Ether Shock to secure the range creep. Pango has the right idea, so no need. Then here, gets them off another creep. Right, playing around the creeps and finding a really nice angle to harass. That's just smart play. Next play, guarantees no pull. Super snooper, beautiful, right? You spend the first 40 seconds zoning, then you go block the camp manually. And this can be a very simple flow that works. Once again, denies, right? You can't always spend all your time harassing. But then Oracle steps up and he uses the Shaman combo, the right click, nuke, right click. Does like 300 damage, pretty nuts. Probably more like 200, but you can see he's putting such a priority on creeps, and this is so important because if he can hit level 2 before the enemy lane, then he's gonna have kill potential. So here you can just see some coordinated harass. He uses the Fairy Fire, which I guess they didn't know he had, and Drow gets baited in. Not only that, Pango gets a double kill. So, really efficient harass, right? Using the tree line to harass, focusing on creeps. Pango hits level 2 early on, right? Because he doesn't get denied. Pango hits level 2, nearly level 3 now, and they're off to a fantastic start, right? And this just makes a lot of sense. I'm sure if he didn't get killed there, he probably would have looked to deny to the tier 2, but just really smart so far. Really, really smart Dota. Now here the Oracle gets a pull off. And he identifies, right, Oracle is just not a hero that can trade with Shaman. It's just not a thing. Identifying a power spike, taking advantage. Also, I believe the Oracle might still be level 1. No, he's level 2 now. Okay, never mind. But this next upcoming play is what's very, very important. Actually, 2 more plays coming up that he makes that are just fantastic. So here, he looks for another kill. Really smart execution, always playing in the tree line as a hero like Shaman. There are some heroes that you want to play in the wave, maybe like a Sven or an Earth Spirit, because you can focus on denies and setting up for a kill. But Shaman is not one of those, right? You can just play tree line because you don't want to get caught out. This is a hero-specific thing. So here, let's talk about this. This is probably like the biggest game-winning or lane-winning point of the game. Why is this efficient side pull? We went over this in the tips. He has a very heavy kill lane. Pango Shaman against a hero like Drow, very heavy kill lane. And this is the first time he's side pulling, right? Why is this so good? They can't push with the card wave. Drow's just going to kill it off. It's not, they don't have a pushing lane, right? So as a result, in a kill lane, he side pulls. And look what happens, right? Drow is forced to come over here, and he's able to set up for a kill. If you're in a kill lane, you side pull to take advantage of that. Even a double kill, right? And this all stems off the side pull. Things do not happen by chance in Dota. It is all a game of numbers and a game of strategy, right? And that's what's so cool about this game. If you take into consideration these points and apply them like Febby does, not to say he's paying attention to my points, but points I've learned from people like Febby, then you're going to have success in your games. Alright, that's all I really wanted to cover for today in this video. I hope this makes a lot of sense and clears up the early laning stage for all of you support players, especially position 4, because I'm a position 3 player, right? I play with a lot of position 4 players who simply seem like they have no clue what they're doing. They just have no idea. And these are immortal players who just are lost. So if you start applying all these tips right now and begin to learn the flow, right? Because Febby has a flow, right? He harasses, he uses the proper harassing techniques, he goes for denies, and then at 40 seconds or 45, he shifts over to block the pole camp. It's all a very well-knit formula that you can learn for yourself. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that take on Febby Shadow Shaman. If you really enjoyed the tips that I gave here and the replay analysis, understand that I did even longer tips and replay analysis for the other roles, right? This is even slightly shorter than the other roles because I really want to put a lot of effort into creating a full series for every single role over on the gameleap.com website. So, and of course, if you enjoyed the video or learned anything about Dota at all, please do like and subscribe, and of course leave a comment down below if you're going to consider going to check out the website, or you just had a great time watching this video, right? But if you did have a great time watching this video and you want to learn more, I really do recommend you go down below, check out the link. Even if you're not going to go sign up, at least browse the free videos and have a look for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.